Well, as I'm sure you're all aware by now, Jamie Lynn has been shilling her book every chance she's had, and unsurprisingly, she's managed to cop a deal with an interviewer on GMA, Good Morning America, where she basically just completely tries to portray herself as a victim and a victim of trauma, which to some extent I can sympathise with, because as she goes on to detail, it does seem like her parents were trying to force her to get an abortion, which she does get very emotional about, but conveniently that is the only part she actually starts getting visibly distraught about. Nothing about how she has seemingly now lost her friendship, sisterhood, whatever you want to call it, with Britney. She doesn't seem too bothered about all of that bit. They go into detail her whole life and kind of present Jamie Lynn as again a victim of trauma, which again I don't doubt that there is some manipulative and callous when it comes to Britney. Not every abusee becomes an abuser, just as Britney seemed to have got out of the cycle, because it does seem like they go on to talk about in this interview that there probably was some level of verbal and maybe emotional abuse going on at the household, primarily due to Jamie's drinking and alcoholism, which they do address. But Jamie Lynn just again kind of goes on the rails that she was young, she didn't know what was going on, so she can't really be blamed for anything. Oh, and just quickly, I'd really appreciate if you hit the like and subscribe button. I'm trying to hit possibly 3.5k, maybe 4k by my birthday, which is the end of February, so yeah, I just would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Carry on with the video. She says that she doesn't know anything more about the conservatorship today than she did when it first happened, because when it first happened, she was more concerned with herself being a 17-year-old that was pregnant, which again, to some extent, I can sympathise with, because that would have been really scary, as I imagine. And especially when she says that she kind of goes around the point, but basically explains that she was kind of being forced and coerced into going back to the good girl that she should have been or would have been before, and just to basically get rid of the baby. And she kind of, like I said, this is the only part that she really gets visibly emotional about, where she says that she's so glad that she spoke up for herself. It's just a shame that she didn't help Britney do that herself. Although she does actually claim that she went out of her way to help Britney with lawyers and means to get out of the conservatorship, but, quote, it had to be Britney to walk through that door. I mean, girl, the gaslighting that goes on in this interview is insane. She tries to frame it that she's the victim, she didn't have any responsibility in the conservatorship. Although she does actually acknowledge that she was put on the conservator list as a trustee, which he actually dismisses, saying that it was just a normal part of sisterhood, and that nothing questionable about that should have been raised by the public, which, to be fair, is a normal part of family life. But then starts to get visibly uncomfortable and starts to say that because she was in conservatorship, she felt like it wasn't appropriate, so she ended all of that, when that's really not how it happened. Jamie Lynn actually tried to move the money into Lou Taylor, who we all know is the snake of all snakes, into her old investment bank. And this all came after years of basically Britney trying to push Lou Taylor out of her family. Lou Taylor did a good job of sticking around Jamie Lynn, and to be fair, I think she's still actually involved in some of Jamie Lynn's work, because she was on the set of and helped her in everything she did with Zoe 101, from maybe even her book. I know she definitely did one of the documentaries that Jamie Lynn did in around 2014, 2016. So this is all, years after Britney called Lou Taylor a stalker in an email to her manager back in 2007. Oh, and it's also been leaked that this documentary was actually filmed at Lou Taylor's house. Oh my god. And some of the key moments from the interview seem to be where Jamie Lynn goes on to basically describe Britney's behaviour in 2007 as erratic, paranoid and spiralling. And most people are not happy with how she phrased this, because basically she's promoted herself earlier last year as an advocate of mental health, has multiple tweets saying that it's not her place to comment on Britney's mental health, yet seemingly does so in an effort to kind of paint herself as a victim, whilst also shilling her book, which again is just profiting off Britney's name, because no one would really want to read Jamie Lynn's book right now if it wasn't everything that had happened with Britney last year. And to have the gall to say that Britney was paranoid and erratic, whilst basically everyone around her was abusing her and using her to their own will and own means, basically for anything they could get from her, when she was trying to perform on stage and asking people in the front crowd not to smoke weed so that she could keep seeing her children, despite everyone around seemingly trying to take that one thing away that she truly loves from her just to keep her under their thumb. And having the paparazzi basically stalk you 24/7, of course she's going to be going through something. And that doesn't necessarily mean she has to be put in a conservatorship. People are also highlighting how Jamie Lynn's behaviour is much more erratic than Britney's has ever been, such as the time where she was in that subway kind of looking place where she pulled a knife out on someone, the time she ended up getting, well, I can't really blame her for this, but she did let Maddie at 8 years old drive a ATV, which had Maddie then underwater for 6 minutes straight. And again, this was the second part of the interview that Jamie Lynn actually got emotional about. And to be fair, it does seem like she really does love Maddie, because again, like I've said, these are the 2 points where she actually did start to tear up. And she likes to portray herself as the victim, someone who, as she says, went out of her way to try and help Britney get out of the conservatorship. Yet we have receipts showing her partying down with the rest of the family in Britney's condo, just as the time period that they were also forcing Britney, against her will, into the treatment facility. And yes, this was the same condo that she started posting about, saying it was our condo, we're so lucky to have my condo, things like that. And then a couple of weeks later, when people started calling her out on all of this, she was changing the captions, saying that they were vacationing in the Ritz Hotel and that she didn't need anything like a condo. Okay, girl, okay. In the interview, they also surprisingly I don't know if they brought this up to Jamie Lynn directly, but they did show that she had been unfollowed recently by Britney, and that was why some people were questioning, again, even more, had their relationship been broken down further. But they did actually mention that it was clear that their relationship was fraught, and a lot of people were questioning why and what happened. And they did actually bring up directly to Jamie about the time that Britney called her out for doing that performance of Britney's song, whilst Britney seemingly wasn't being allowed to perform on stage. And Jamie Lynn painted off that she was trying to do a tribute, which to some extent I can actually understand that in Jamie Lynn's mind she maybe was just trying to do like a lot of fans do as well, just pay tribute to someone who they really admire. But it kind of had this undertone of weirdness, being that Britney was sitting in the crowd at a time period where she seemingly wasn't being allowed to perform because she wasn't following the rules of her management, because they had to keep a thumb on Britney because everything she did was basically look bad on them. And if Britney wasn't being a good girl and doing as she was told, she wasn't allowed to perform and do the thing she loved, and especially not on her own terms, which is why I think Britney felt that her sister had basically taken her place in this performance and was singing a song, and not only just Britney's song, but she was singing a remix. And I think that was one of the things that Britney was most hurt about in this whole ordeal. But notably, Julie Chen, twice in this interview, goes on to highlight that Jamie Lynn has a lot of trauma herself. Again, which I've said multiple times now, I don't really doubt that she does, but to kind of use that as an excuse as to why she hasn't been there for Britney, whilst also gaslighting everyone around her, saying that she has, and that she, again, quote, went out of her way to try and help Britney get out of it, which just isn't the case. It's just a load of bullshit, to be honest. Because she tries to paint herself as this selfless individual when we all know deep down Jamie Lynn is a mean girl. She was outed as being a bully on the set of Zoe 101, particularly to Nicole. And I mean, you can just see it in that time that she made that fake no-tear apology or breakdown that she had when everyone started to really get an idea of who Jamie Lynn was. And you can see it especially in the end of this video when she was allegedly hacked a couple of years back. Actually, it might not even been a couple of years back, it might have just been 12 months ago, but COVID times.
I look like hell, so I have a filter on here, but I wanted to address something even though I shouldn't because it's so stupid, but someone obviously got in my account and blocked my sister. I never blocked my sister and I never would, so whatever petty asshole did that, like, for real. My sister is the absolute shit, and I love and support her in every single way. Also, if I had a real problem with her, don't you think I'd call her up or go see her? Do you really think that I would block her on a social platform? Come on, people. So, no. Spears sisters are fine. I did not block her. Someone with way too much time on their hands. A little shit stirrer did, I guess. Love my sis and love her post. So why would I block a good follow?
Just that end frame, I think, just encapsulates Jamie Lynn to a T. Just complete mean girl energy. And I don't know why she posted this picture, but the caption of it said something like, "You tried your damnedest, bless your heart." And in the same day as Jamie Lynn had posted this, Britney actually posted something with the same caption, kind of mocking her, but she quickly changed the caption. And unsurprisingly, I went onto Jamie Lynn's Instagram, and she's shilling a book in her story. So nothing out of the ordinary there. But with Britney, she's been posting a couple of nudes over the past week or so, and a lot of people I think we're probably being really horrible to her in the comments, because she's actually now switched the comments off on across her whole profile, which, to be fair, I think is best for her. All these people calling her out and saying that, oh, now I understand why she was in a conservatorship, is just not helpful to her in any way, shape or form, and it's not helping her grow, recover, and just get back to who she feels like she truly is after everything that she's gone through. All these people commenting all that mean shit are just holding her back, so I think it's a really positive move actually for her to turn off her comments. She doesn't need all the trolls, she doesn't need the engagement or anything to boost her profile, and I don't think she really cares about things like that anyway. But she did post this reels to her Instagram over the past couple of hours, and it does sound a lot more like her old self in terms of the tonality of her voice. But again, I'm not pressuring her or trying to make her or say that she should turn back to her old self, because she's been through 13 years of fucking trauma, so she's not ever really going to be that same person. And if anything, she's just going to learn and grow from everything and be just who she truly is. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say that she should be anyone that she isn't just because she starts to sound like someone in this reel. Anyway, let me just play the video.
It's really weird. This water is not moving at all, and it's on the same counter as this one, and this one is moving by itself. There's not a bug in there or anything, but the water is moving by itself. Now this one is not moving at all. And sorry, my phone is blurry this way, so you can't really see clear, but that one's still moving. Damn.
But I think the clear difference in this one is just her voice doesn't sound strained, she doesn't sound stressed, and she just sounds a lot more natural while she's talking, and just, you know, like a little kid again, being inquisitive about the world around her, presumably because she's been held basically captive for 13 long years. So that's all about everything. Let me know down in the comments what you think about Jamie Lynn's interview, whether you'd seen it or not. And to be honest, there isn't actually that much in it that's what you wouldn't expect from Jamie Lynn. She paints herself as the victim, lies about certain aspect of the whole 13 years and her involvement with everything, and does a couple of seemingly no tiered cries. But yeah, just let me know down in the comments what you thought about the whole interview if you saw it. So see you in the next one, and sorry if I've been a bit sporadic with my posting. I've recently started a new job that I'm finding a bit hectic, and yeah, just working through some stuff, but hope you're all okay. Hope you had a lovely Christmas, Happy New Year, and yeah, let's see 2022.
Say what you wanna say to me